This video is brought to you by EVBase. Use my referral code when you get a new Tesla and get 3 months of free FSD. Hey everyone, Moshe the Electric Israeli and FSD here. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and help me change the world. One electric car at a time, coming to you from South Florida today. And as you can see, we are going to talk about what do I think the Robotaxi, the Robotaxi fleet of Tesla, the Tesla system, the Tesla ecosystem is going to do to Waymo / Uber and the others, at least in the United States. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about overseas because I follow that market as well. So the approach of Tesla versus Waymo, the main competitor, is completely and totally different. So this is what I am going to try to cover with you today. The cyber revolution, why Tesla, in my opinion, will dominate the Robotaxi world. I don't think it's going to be 100% domination. I think winner take most is more likely. The Tesla side on the right, you can see it's a 6 times lower production cost, if not more. It's going to be a 30,000 car. So I'm only talking about the Cybercab. We're going to touch about the Model Ys and the others. Okay, it works everywhere with the global vision. And those who drive Teslas know that you can drive everywhere, and I'm going to show you a short clip of my driving in Miami not too long ago. Only vision, as we said, general AI, annual production prediction of 2 million vehicles a year. It's only hardware, software, cameras, and that's it. You don't have to reinvent or put anything on it. All Tesla cars come with it, whether you use it as a Robotaxi or not. Okay, lifetime saving about $750,000. And the whole key here is the efficiency and the production methods, okay? Built for peak demand, but it's going to have other uses when the car is not driving per se, as opposed to the competitor Waymo, Uber, the expensive suite. It's a status quo. It is a regular car. It used to be GM's. Now it's Jaguars. They're talking about bringing Chinese car Zeekr in here. $150,000 vehicle cost. A heavy sensor suite. Slow expansion, and on and on and so on and so forth. Only 10,000 vehicles annual production, which needs to have $100,000 plus of all kinds of sensors and all that. So this is the basics of the two different models. One is a car ready to go out of the line, and one needs to be bought and put on this all the sensors on top of it. So this is really the mindset, the conception of the traditional automakers, quote unquote, even though Waymo is not an automaker. Meaning, let's do what we think works. Let's buy a car, put everything on it, and send it in a small geofence area, as opposed to a car that can drive everywhere. So that is the key point. So what is their illusion or delusion? That and this what the CEO of Uber said it just the other day. He said that the Robotaxi in a large scale is far away from us, and there are going to be many winners. This is if Tesla is right, if Tesla does not exist. But Tesla does exist. And if Tesla did not exist, yes, this is what was going to happen. So basically, the thesis that the winner takes it all is if Tesla execute well. I think Tesla will be the winner take most. And this is only, let's say, North America. I will talk about overseas because I know a lot about it, because I visit and I drive Chinese cars, and I'll tell you in a minute. Okay? So basically, the traditional Waymo Uber model, buy a car, put lidar, put radar, put cameras, put all of this, and have a fleet of people behind the scenes monitor and operate. Now, just to give you an example, just a few days ago, there was another power outage in San Francisco. What's happening there? All of Waymo's shut down. This happened a few months ago as well. Okay? What happened to Tesla cars? Nothing. If there's going to be pitch black tomorrow and I'm driving and no power, the car will continue. Okay, if it will see a blinking traffic light or orange blinking because it's not working, it will slow down and it will proceed like a regular driver. It will not affect it. Okay, the traditional way, the Waymo Uber way, geofence area. The production method, there's no method, it's a retrofit. It's not a production. So I buy a car, a Chinese car, which they're not allowed to come to the United States, and there's a push not to bring them at all, even if they're willing to pay 105% a tariff. Not bringing them, but that's another story. So let's buy a car and put all this stuff on it. So you are relying on different manufacturer. Tesla, vision only, AI that works everywhere, and a dedicated line that will produce only these robotaxis. Those two-seaters, I saw it in New York, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, this is in addition to all the Model 3s and all the Model Ys that are driving around and can be used as robotaxis by private owners. Okay, so like we said, Tesla, technically a $35,000 Model 3 or $40,000 Model Y can be unleashed and are used for robotaxis as opposed to Waymos that have to have all this expense in a very short area. Okay, so now think about a Waymo driver, average Waymo driver. An average Waymo driver can make between $500 to $1,000 a day driving 10, 12 hours. That's a lot of driving. You cannot pay me $1 million. You as a person can unleash your own car, or can buy a cheap Cybercab and make a little fleet that you monitor, and you tell Tesla to use it for their needs. So the capex, okay, the expenses to build one for Tesla is fixed, and it goes lower all the time because of their way they make cars. The operation of Tesla cars is incredible. Now let me tell you this. The Tesla model is that the car works 24/7. Now, obviously, a car, even if it's autonomous, cannot drive 24/7 because it has to be charged and it has to be cleaned. Okay, so that takes time. All right, because a regular car owned by me or you, anyone, can only operate a couple hours a day because you work or you sleep. So our cars sit 90 to 95% of the time all by themselves. So now Tesla can tell you, okay, Moshe, can we use your car this weekend or this holiday or your extra car that you dedicate for that, and we will clean it, we will take care of it. Okay, so he drives. So let's say I need that car. So I say I only want to use it when I work, because I don't need it when I work. 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever, as long as it's work. So he drives. What happens when it comes home at night? Moshe, can you charge your car so we can use it for compute? Can we do that? So now Tesla using your car as compute, and you make money letting Tesla use your hardware and the computer in your car as a computing harvest. Huh? So that is absolutely incredible. In some towns, Tesla cars as a fleet can help the grid in times of need. It's very hot, very cold, there's power outage, whatever. So you can contribute to the grid some electricity with V2L methods, meaning your car technically works for you and for Tesla 24 hours, okay? So in order for Teslas to meet the need of morning rush and afternoon rush, and holidays when a lot of people drive, Thanksgiving for example, they will need all the cars, their own and other people, to contribute them to the fleet. So they make their cut, but you make the most of the money. Okay? As opposed to Waymos or Zooks that work only in small areas. And now obviously everybody wants to get the permits and the capabilities in cities. That's where the money is. So anybody who tells you car ownership is no longer going to be a thing, that's not true. Car ownership is going to be alive and well everywhere for decades to come. But the mega cities, for example, I live not too far from New York City. New York City, the five boroughs, and New Jersey, across the river, the Bergen County and all that place, that's like 20 million people in a very small area. If you are an Uber driver and you live there, you can drive 24/7. So if your car can drive for you 24/7, it's good. But I do not live in an area where I can afford walking or just taking an Uber. I live in a remote area, okay? So obviously a car ownership will be a thing. Where I'm right now in South Florida, I'm going to also need a car. But I'm 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is a huge city. What do I do right now? I make you videos. How about my car go drive and make me money? Do you see the point? Do you see the difference? So in a peak hour, your car drives. In a low hour, your car computes, and sometimes your car can help the grid in power demand. Not necessarily power outage, power demand. So this is how winner take all or winner take most, in my opinion, can work. Okay, the model is different. Tesla controls the flow and the income, because the expense is very, very low, and even charging and cleaning is going to be done wirelessly and by a robot who clean and vacuum your car. It's incredible. Now, let me say something about the Chinese robotaxis. I have friends who visit the Emirates before the war, and there are Chinese cars which provide robotaxis, completely autonomous, with a monitor, with the driver sitting, and just like Tesla's doing in some cities in the United States today with a monitor. The Chinese are not waiting. Okay, they're not waiting. And one company, Xpeng, they have a great CEO. Xpeng I drove an Xpeng car several times, several models when I was abroad. And those cars, it's a Tesla Model Y. It's exactly the same car, same idea, same thing, vision only. And the CEO came to San Francisco, drove FSD and said, I want just like that. Meaning the Chinese, what they do is exactly what Tesla does. The same way to produce, casting, mold, the same way to produce cars, battery packs, you see an Xpeng production line, you see a Tesla production line, it's the same thing. Okay, they're copying the same idea, okay? And they will, so when, not if, when Tesla is allowed to unleash Robotaxi in China and other places, the Chinese competition is similar to what Tesla is doing. Now, here's what Tesla have that nobody has, and that is data. Millions and millions. Tesla by itself, they have 10 billion miles, which is 16 billion kilometers of FSD data. FSD data, not just autopilot, just cars driving on FSD. So the advantage is still there, but abroad the competition is completely and totally different, unlike the United States. Okay, that's something to think about. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.